What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hope Shot. Hope you guys are having a great day, great weekend, ready for the week. I don't think we're ever ready for the week, are we?
No.
Because it is me. I'm never ready for the week. I'm like, damn, did it really just pass by that fast? Where the hell did the weekend go? Just like that. What's up, Rachel? How are you?
What's up? How are you, homie?
I'm good.
I'm
Just,
super excited.
I know. What's going on tonight? Why are you excited? What's going
I'm
on?
excited because my rainbow is going to be on sharing her story.
Oh, yeah. That's what we got going on tonight. I thought we were just going to have a topic night between me and you, cutting it up, you know?
We could do that one day too, but this one's going to be awesome.
No, this is going to be an awesome night, man. We got a great story for you from Danielle. She's got such a powerful message to share. And I'm going to find the clarity statement because I haven't done it in a while. So it's really far back into the files.
Where's Caesar when you need him?
I know, man. He's always on point, you know? And he's just got the voice for it. All right, the Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our family. All right, if you guys just jumping on, say what's up. Let us know you're here. We got some people flocking in. I like this. We got Melissa. You got this, beautiful. All right, let's get some words of encouragement for our friend. We got Tiffany. Hey, gorgeous family of mine. We got my sister Katie. Hey, friend. We got Lindsay. Good to see you. We got Rudolph Wise. What's up? And then we have Aaron. Good to see you tonight. We're doing all right. How about you? Steve, let's go Rainbow. We got Margot on here. Yay, love you, Danielle. We got April in the house. What's up, April? We got Taylor. What's up, Taylor? And we have Kenzie.
Yay.
Super excited. Me too. I'm super excited to hear Danielle's story. It's gonna be a good one. And we got Helen. Helen, good to see you. I miss you. I feel like the Hope Shot's been a little off with our podcast, but you know what? It's always right on time, right? So yeah, Danielle. Let's talk about Danielle for a minute. You want to do that, Rachel? Let's talk about Danielle for a minute.
One of my favorite people to talk about, no problem. So Danielle, listen, I met Danielle probably 2 or 3 years ago. She started dating a friend of mine. They were dating, not dating. And the first time I met Rainbow, she was really quiet and shy. And she just had this light about her even then, you know what I mean? And she just kind of seemed like she was like closed in on herself, you know? And she came into my life during a time when I was kind of lost in some darkness myself. And that's how she got the nickname, Rainbow, because her light has always just been so bright for me. Like, she moved into my sober house, and man, her and my friend Jen, they saved me. Like, I was really struggling in that sober house. I was there for so long, and I was managing it, and I would get sucked into so much negativity and darkness. And she moved in, and she was like my light in the storm, my rainbow in the storm. And since that time, we've walked through so much together in life, right? Like, I'm not going to tell her story. I'm going to let her tell her story. But like, she was there for me when my mom died. And we've walked through so many different life on life's terms things. And she's still my rainbow today, man. I know a lot of strong women. I'm a strong woman, but Rainbow is without a doubt the strongest woman I know. She gets hit with life, and she somehow manages to walk through the most painful things with grace and compassion and just like a physical embodiment of these principles that we practice. And she's a powerful message of recovery. She gives volunteers of her time and gives back to the fellowship. This area loves her for very good reason. And with that, just here's my rainbow.
Hi.
What's up, Danielle?
What's up? Hi. All right. trying to make me cry before I even go on to talk.
I love you, Rainbow.
Love you too. All right. Hi guys. My name is Danielle. I am a recovering addict. I will tell you a little bit of my backstory, and then I guess I'll go into, how recovery saved my life. So I did grow up in a home that, addiction and alcohol was not a thing at all. Like, my parents were very loving, and it was a God-centered home. So like I grew up knowing what a higher power was. Um, and then my dad was diagnosed with MS when I was really young, and he passed away when I was 9. And that was really like the start of where, those resentments started kicking in, and I started pulling away from that higher power. And just, like growing up and going into my teenage years, like I was always trying to find something to fill that, what I thought was like a missing piece, I guess, like that void that we talk about, that God-shaped hole in your heart. So um like at first I think I just filled it with like attention, and then boys, and then drugs, and like most, I started off with smoking cigarettes, and smoking weed and drinking occasionally, and that all started when I was probably about 13. um and then life just kind of kept going on, and uh by the time I was 17, I ended up moving out of my house, or my mom's house, because I was sick of babysitting my siblings. And again, with the resentments, like, once I started working steps, I really started realizing that there wasn't communication. So instead of communicating, I just became resentful and would hide. So I got upset and I moved out at 17 years old. Moved in with a boyfriend and his parents. And like jumping into relationships like that, like I wasn't doing it because I was thinking properly, like it was just trying to survive at that point. Um, I met my son's father when I was 16. And we got together when I was 18, and my son was born when I was 19. And from there, like, I guess again, with those resentments, like, I resented the fact that I had no party life. I wasn't able to get out of the house and go do things that I thought I should be able to do. But in reality, like, no matter what, like, you're supposed to be a responsible parent, like, doesn't matter how old you are. Um, so yeah, like life just kept going on. I was in a super toxic relationship. So, like I couldn't, I don't know how to explain that. Like it was hard to, oh my gosh, I'm like having a brain fart. I am super nervous if nobody has noticed.
You're
Doing
doing
great,
great.
Rainbow.
um, so I was in with my son's father. It was super toxic both ways. Like I've owned my part of the bad portion of our relationship. And so like as time went on and I stayed in that relationship when I should have left, um, the drug use and the alcohol just continued. It just got worse and worse. And I'm dragging my poor kid along with me through it all. Um, and by the time he was about 10 years old, like he's starting to see and realize like the reason behind like all the toxic behaviors, and like, so I ended up leaving, and because I felt like there was no other way out of that relationship without walking out. So I ended up walking out on my 10-year-old. And, like that was where I ended up diving even deeper into the rabbit hole. Like I couldn't function without having some sort of substance in my body. And, like I ended up losing a job. Like I got fired not once, but twice from the same job. And, like I look back at it now and I'm grateful for it, because that was like the first time that somebody didn't like just co-sign my bullshit. So like it started pushing me into that right direction of recovery. Um and so obviously I didn't get clean after I got fired the second time. So I got a job where I was able to drink on the job. And that just made everything escalate even farther. And even my bosses at that job were like, you have a problem. Like, you really need to get help. And, I didn't take it seriously because I was surrounded by people that drank, even though looking back at it now, like I would go from one place until they were done drinking, and then I would find another place and continue drinking there, and then wake up the next, or not sleep at all, wake up the next morning and continue to use to make myself feel better. And it was just a constant battle. And then I finally hit my bottom, and I was going to be kicked out of the place that I was living at. I overheard my friend and my roommate talking to my ex about how her children and my son did not need to see me that way. Like I was fall down, couldn't like function without any type of substance. At that point, I was using all sorts of things to make myself feel better. And in reality, I was just detoxing. So I ended up detoxing on a couch. I had came out and had told her that I was ready. I needed help. And she was like, all right. She's like, I'm going to help you. And so I detoxed on the couch for 3 days. Highly do not recommend that. If you're detoxing off of alcohol or benzos, like go do it in a facility because it's awful. I ended up in the hospital. And you would have thought that would have been the end of it, like that I would never want to use again. And within 3 days after quitting, I was right back to doing what I was doing before, but with that mindset of like, I really did want to get clean. Like I really did want the help. And so my aunt had said that she really thought that I needed some sort of rehab. And she was like, if you wake up in the morning and you decide that you want to do rehab, she's like, I'm going to take you. And I woke up the next morning ready to go. Like, I'm like, all right, let's do this. And she, talking to her at my last celebration, she still was in shock that I actually decided that I wanted to go. She really thought that I wasn't going to go. So we ended up going to a place in Pinellas County that, I did like a little intake thing, and they said that I didn't need inpatient because I had already detoxed off of alcohol for the most part. So they were like, we can do outpatient. And my aunt was like, oh, hell no. Like, she's just going to continue to do what she's doing. Like, she's going to still work at the same job and be around the same people. Like, that's not going to happen. So I still don't really know how my mom found the sober living home out in Pasco County that she ended up taking me to, but because my mom lives in Colorado and we're here in Florida. So anyways, my aunt was like, all right, we're heading to Newport Richey. And I'm like, wait, you're taking me to Pasco County to get clean? And it like blew my mind, because for me, Pasco County was the party county. Like, this is where you came to pick up the drugs. This is where you came to go to the stockyard. And, like there was never any other reason that I ever came to Newport Richey or Pasco County, period. So I ended up we're driving out here, and I will never forget, like, I was terrified because when I was thinking, because when she talked about it as a halfway house, not a sober living home. And I love the fact that they've kind of switched over what they used to call them, because when I was thinking halfway house, I'm like thinking of like, roaches everywhere and little cots and little rooms and big weird cafeteria. I don't know. I was freaked out. And I ended up walking into this house, and it was beautiful. Like, nicer than any house that I think I've ever lived in. And like, there was just like a peace about it. Like, it was so amazing. And like, they talked about it was a 6-month program, and that terrified me because I'm like, I can't be away from my kid for 6 months, like, even though I had walked out on him and gotten him back in my life, and like, was not really a present mom to begin with anyways. I was worried about being gone for 6 months to make, like, to get better. So, my initial, like, coming into recovery and coming into the sober living, I, was just really there to get clean and to get better, so that I could go back and use properly, I guess you could say. So, like, my initial coming in was, I'm going to get clean for my son. I'm going to get clean so that I can, get him back in my life. And then, as recovery went on, I realized, like, I needed to get clean for myself so that I can be a better mom for my son. So I was in that recovery home for 10 months. I well exceeded my 6-month stay. I ended up becoming the house manager of that sober living home. And then that sober living home ended up closing down abruptly, and the entire house was displaced. And it was a very terrifying moment. And, like, if it wasn't for people in the rooms, like, I would have probably ended up back home in Pinellas County, where I came from. And, I don't know what would have happened at that point. Like, I had some good recovery under my belt, but going back to living the lifestyle that I was living before, I don't know if I would have stayed clean. So there were some amazing people that, stuck by me, including my now husband. And then my friend April, she was like, I needed, because I was not, my whole problem was moving from one sober living home to another sober living home. I'm like, I'm not doing this whole thing again. Like, I was very stubborn, and my friend April told me to put my pride and ego aside and just go into another sober living home and see how I liked it. Well, I liked it a lot. I stayed there 8 months. And that's where I met, I had met Rachel before, but I had, that's where I ended up getting super close to her and a lot of other people in the NA fellowship. And it was, and has been amazing, like, when I like to say, like, when coming into recovery, like, AA got me clean and NA has taught me how to live clean. And like, I've gotten to get into service on a higher level, and it's great. Like, I was not expecting to be nervous coming on here and speaking today, because I go into all these other facilities and, I sometimes get a little nervous, but not as nervous as I was today. My heart has been beating out of my chest all day. And I think it's just doing new things. So since being in recovery, a lot has happened. So in 2023, in December of 2023, my son was hit and killed on his way to school. It was Rachel and April that showed up at my ex's house and went to the hospital with me. And, it was, something that I kind of wish I didn't go do, because that was like the last vision of my son. but they stayed with me all day. My mom flew in to be with me, and we all went to a meeting that night. And, like I've learned in recovery that that's what you do. Like if something bad happens, you go to a meeting. If something good happens, you go to a meeting. Like it's not, those meetings are there so that we can express how we're feeling and to give hope to others. And, like I've learned that through the people in the rooms from my predecessors. And like this year or this past year, oh my gosh, it still blows my mind. It's 2025 already. So this past year has been absolutely insane. Like I have gone through so many life-changing events that, are absolute blessings, honestly. Like in January, right after my son had passed, I started a new job to try to get back um into the nursing field, because that was what I originally wanted to do. When my son was born, the lady that helped deliver him, the nurse in the room, I was like, I want her job. So I was like, since then, I've always wanted to become a nurse. I tried when I was younger. And of course, when you're using, you kind of don't follow your dreams anymore. You follow the drugs. So I finally was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. When I first got into recovery, I started looking at my goals and everything. And I had gotten student loans that I had taken out. What do you call that? Where loan forgiveness. So I ended up getting all the money that I had ever paid this school back. And I was able to apply for the FAFSA again to get money to go back to school. But I ended up getting this amazing job at the hospital where they were going to help pay for my schooling. And the day after I started, or the day before I started, I found out I was pregnant. And that was literally a month to the day after my son passed away that I found out I was pregnant. 2 months to the day of finding out my son passed, or 2 months to the day after my son passed away, I found out I was having twins. So in July of this year, I had twin boys. And, like I was married this past year. We have moved this past year. It's been a very insane year, but I'm grateful for all of it. Like this is what recovery has given me. Like bad things happen, life on life's terms. Like I am grateful for like the faith that I have today, because, if I didn't have that, like I don't know, like I don't know where I would be, honestly. Like it's recovery has given me a totally different understanding about myself. Another thing I was just thinking about today, like I've really been able to pinpoint like where my emotions are coming from, and like realizing that, certain things trigger me. And I've been able to start communicating a lot more, especially like with my spouse. Like, I forgot to talk about him. He is amazing, and he is also in recovery. And like he stands by my side, even though he might not always be around because he works a lot, but he definitely is always there for me when I need him. And it's good to have somebody that I can communicate with, because like I love to be in my head and come up with all these crazy scenarios that possibly could happen or could be happening. And, without communicating with him or with anybody, like those thoughts are going to stay in my head and it's going to make me crazy. So, I was at a meeting this morning and we were talking about love and expectations of people and stuff. And like I'm like, I do that. I put expectations and then I get pissed when they don't follow it, but I don't ever voice the fact that I have those expectations, So I'm like, I'm really trying to work on that. I've also noticed recently, like one of my toxic traits is driving now. I want to kill everybody. And I've realized that it's all coming out of anxiety, like because my anxiety has been so high ever since my son died. Like the anxiety of driving, especially at nighttime, like is skyrocketed. So then I blame everybody else on the road for, whatever's going on. So I'm like cussing at everybody and this person's an idiot and this person. Gabe doesn't even like talking to me when I'm in the car anymore because I'm always complaining. He's like, so, but I can just like, I guess all I can just say is like, if you stick around, like the miracle does happen, like life on life's terms is a thing. Like grief is a thing. And, I'm able to talk about it today, like as much as it hurts. And, like it's definitely the worst thing that I've ever had to go through, but I was able to walk through it with some pretty amazing people and I was able to do it clean because, like I said before, like I got clean for my son. Like today I stay clean for him, like I couldn't imagine going back to the lifestyle I was living. It's been just an amazing journey so far and I plan on sticking around for forever, so that's all I got.
Danielle, you got me shedding tears over here. That is just, your story is just, I mean, I've watched you walk this thing out. So I've seen it in real life, like on real life, real time. So I know exactly what it was like to walk this thing out, and you did it with like such grace. Like really, like we don't know when things are going to happen. Shit's going to hit the fan any minute for anybody, and we don't know, but it's how we act in those moments, how we show up in those moments that can define where we're going to be in the future. And you've done exactly that. And man, I love the picture you sent me to put onto the addiction to success thing, because it just, your face is just lit up, it's such a good picture, just to let you know. And
Hey.
and by the way, I can relate with Gabe, because I will not talk to Tiffany on the phone while she's driving. It won't happen. I'm not doing it. And I can't stand being in the car.
Oh, he still does it, even though I'm sure he hates it, but he knows like my anxiety's through the roof. So it's just, I like being on the phone because then I'm not like in my head. So
she's screaming like, "We're doing it!" And I'm like, oh, I think it's a lot of people these days, because there's a lot of idiots on the road. I don't know where they're coming from, but it's probably up north somewhere. I don't know.
They all let him out. I don't know what happened.
At the same damn time, too,
Yep.
Well, let me read some of these comments. And Rachel, you want to say anything?
I was muted. I just want to say she did really good. And I don't know why we're like this. Russell says the same thing about me all the time. Like I'm super spiritual until I'm driving, and then I'm like a monster, dude. I don't understand it either. And I've been talking to God about it a lot because, like, I'm fine as long as I stop trying to drive everybody else's car, which is the same thing that I do in real life. When I start like looking at your sheet and being like, "Well, you should be doing it that way," I'm going to start getting really, you know what I'm saying? So I find myself praying and meditating a lot now when I drive. I don't even turn the radio on. I keep it quiet and I just pray for myself the whole way.
That's make us the same size. I mean, I got back on level playing field, okay?
Yeah.
Rachel's like, do I have to be big still?
Do something with these humans.
Oh.
You did so good, Rainbow.
Thank you. I'm finally not full of like shakes anymore. I feel better.
You know, Justin said it too. Like we're never prepared for what life's going to throw our way, right? And that's why the training that we do is so important. Like in early recovery, when we did the 90 and 90, and we got used to going to meetings all the time. You know what I mean? So like, no matter what happens, your feet are already there before your brain catches up, because when life comes along and just smacks the crap out of you, you know what I mean? And rocks you to your knees, your brain's not even really functioning. You know, April taught me that a long time ago. Like those are the moments where your training kicks in, and what you do in the beginning carries you through. years and years, the relationships that you develop and the people that stand to your left and right. Like, that's why I have to have such solid people around me, because I need to be able to trust that when my knees buckle, I'm going to be held up, you know? And it's hard. It's hard to see somebody you love face something like that down. You know what I mean? Like, and it's hard to just be a witness, but sometimes that's all we could do is just stand by them and walk through it. I can't fix it. I can't make it better. I could be present and I can walk it with you, you know? And in all reality, that's probably the greatest honor in life. Like, the things that we get to experience together as we walk through life on life's terms for years in this thing together, like, those bonds are so, so strong and so, like, precious. Like, we really do this thing together. And when you get to the other side of those and you see how much you've grown together as a unit, it's beautiful. I love you, Rainbow. You're priceless.
I love you too.
You know, that's so true. It's like, in the beginning, that's why they taking those suggestions, even though you don't want to. Nobody wants to hear that crap, right? Anybody's one of them. I don't know why this stuff ain't working for me. Well, maybe because you need to take these suggestions and do something with it. Maybe. But it's so valuable, you know, doing those 1990s. Like, I hated it, every minute of it, until I started liking it. At first, we hate everything, right? I mean, shit, you hated, look, Rainbow, you didn't want to really come on here like, God dang it, why did I say yes? No, I'm just kidding. But it's like, it's something that you're not familiar with, just like you were talking about with the bar, and, you know, your parents or your mom was scared for you to go back to the same scenarios. Well, yeah, it's because it's comfortable. We're going to go back to the same stuff, try to, like, you know, maybe if I tweak this a little bit, the formula, maybe I could have this experience, you know, and it never worked. And we're wondering why. And I keep telling people, like, even some people I know, I keep telling them, I'm like, stop doing it your way. Stop. And you'll get something. You'll get somewhere. Do it do it the way other people are telling you to do it. And I'm telling you, you'll get the results that you really want. Because nobody really wants to sit in misery unless you just like being there. I don't know. I didn't, you know. No. That's why I tried it over and over and over, you know, and finally it stuck, you know. Let's see. Let's read some comments. Let's see. We got Melissa says, I remember your first day when I met you. Over that. What was the sober living called again?
Grace House.
Grace House. That's it. I remember.
I was there too once upon a time before Rainbow.
Oh yeah,
you were the first Grace House girl ever.
I was there by myself for like a month and a half,
doing all the chores.
That was legit.
Well, I just learned something. You're the real OG.
Yep.
Let's see. We have Brianna says, I am loving your story. You're amazing. Let's see. We have
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
Yep. That's my, she likes to talk.
Is that Alexa? She needs.
It's Siri.
Oh, Siri's unruly.
If you tell Siri to shut up, she will stop talking to you. She did it to me. I was trying to get more directions and she totally started ignoring me in my car.
She's unruly.
Gave me the cold shoulder. Were you screaming like, you know, at the people driving?
I told her to shut up. And she listened.
She cringing in the corner. And then we have Brianna again says, I'm so sorry to hear that, but you reached out to your people, the next right thing, even when it all goes sideways. That's what it's about. We get prepared for those moments. We have Lindsay says, I love you, Danielle. I can see God shining bright through you.
Amen.
Michelle says, you are an inspiration. I love you, girl. And we have Kelly. What's up, Kelly? You are strength and grace combined. Such an inspiration. We got Grandma Hope Shot. Helen, I was brought to a MYG when my son died. Thank God for our circle of friends in the program that gave us a strength when we're weak. All Going down, going down. There's a lot of comments. Oh, here we go. Stephanie says, hug a tree before you get in your car and just mind your own business.
Fair enough. We go feed some more crows. I might feel better.
She got a point, you know?
I know. She got me.
Taylor says, you did awesome. It's such a good and learning story.
That's one of Miles's friends.
Aww.
That's what's up.
She's
we got
amazing.
We got Wayne Scott. What's up, Wayne? I just say hi.
Hey, look, mine made it. Sorry, squirrel.
Rudolph says Crystal McCormick shares this same trait. I kind of want to stick you, Rachel, and Crystal in the same vehicle on a road trip. Turn y'all loose on some poor, unsuspecting traffic. They have a squad, dude, like a whole van of them.
People might pay to see that one.
They just might.
You know,
the freak show. The freak show's back in town. We got Kenzie says, you are such a beautiful soul and inspiration to so many. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Kenzie.
Mm-hmm.
What up, Big Steve? That's my dude. Kelly says, I remember those days, Rachel. Anger sweeping.
My Grace House days. The anger sweeping was definitely because of Russell, just so everybody knows.
Isn't that always like that?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's normally the only time I really see you angry.
I shoveled 40 pounds of dirt into a garbage can for no reason, stomped around in front of the sober house, and maniacally swept for a good 20 minutes. But I didn't get high, and I didn't run, and I didn't beat anybody.
There you go. When all else fails, just sweep angrily.
Yep. I was big mad.
We got Sandra. I had years clean, relapse now 39 days. Grateful to be alive. Well, congratulations to you on your 39 days, and thank you for coming back and being here.
Yes.
And she says she missed the story. Thank you for giving back. You could always catch the recap on the Facebook. You can just replay it. That or YouTube. And we have Rudolph says, I was at the meeting that night. Danielle showed up after what happened with her son. I couldn't believe she had the strength and courage to show up there. I carry that memory and that message with me every single day. It takes strength, man, to show up through those things, you know? It takes some serious strength. We have Lindsay
like
says,
Rachel said, that's what we're programmed to do, though. So, once you do those 90 and 90, it just sets in your head to have a routine of that's just your go-to immediately.
Yeah, you know where the water is when your ass is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow was definitely surrounded, pretty quickly by both fellowships, really. It crossed fellowships. It was the whole recovery area, her church family. She was really surrounded, and I don't imagine anybody was going to let her fall by the wayside, and she showed up and did her part, one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember that. Lindsay says, yes, I remember that too. Beautiful to see the troops come out for support. And let's see. I think that's all we got, man. Danielle, thank you so much for having the courage to come on here, even through anxiety. And listen, there's some days I still get nervous coming on here. I don't know why. Just sometimes it just happens, but it's usually when we get nervous, sometimes that's when the most profound things are going to happen. We get nervous and it almost wants us to not show up at all. That's what it does. And fear kicks in, anxiety, unknown, all those things. And having the courage to show up and just do it. I remember the first time I did the recovery walk and did a speech in front of it. I literally was about to fall out, legs shaking, sweating, like I was trembling, my voices, and everybody's like, "You did great." I was like, "Oh my god, you don't even understand." It's just horrible. But now I could do it so gracefully and like just easy, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that's what it is just we're sharing us with the world, and sometimes that could be very scary. But once we get through it, man, you never know who this might touch tonight, you know. So
Mhm.
I appreciate you, and I love you so much, and thank you for being a part of our area, part of my recovery. And yeah, oh shoot, let me
All the
see
love.
all the there it is. Rachel's on that stuff. That's the only thing she wanted to do with this computer. That's it.
That's it.
Just the hearts. In the firework. Okay, we could do that. Wait.
Favorite part.
I can't. You were amazing, Rainbow. You did so
Yeah.
good.
Thanks.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for being here tonight, hearing this story. We appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys haven't yet, share this story because you never know who might need to hear it. And we'll see you guys next week for the boys are back in town for our topics. And hope you guys have a wonderful week. Let me turn off some things and we'll see you. Peace.